Hi, this is Daniel Hutchins, and today we'll be bringing back the late night videos. So today's late night video is about WandaVision. So WandaVision just set up a dangerous precedent for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So here we go. Let me just close that out real quick. Sorry about that. Okay, so WandaVision just set a dangerous precedent for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Okay, so the Scarlet Witch may have changed Marvel Studios' release strategy in a terrifying way. Recently spoke to the friend who was obsessed with the video game series Dark Souls. Okay. While acknowledging his enthusiasm, I was confused by the appeal. The Souls games, if you're not familiar, are notoriously difficult and anemic on storytelling. Over the phone, though, my buddy raved about the game's mythology that was told exclusively in long walls of text containing information he discovered from in-game relics from my friend and countless other Soul fans. It was the thrill of discovery, but then not the actual telling of the story that excited him. How did TV and movies get you through this pandemic? We want to hear from you. You could take a survey from Inverse.com. Okay, so we're not talking about that. We are going to be jumping right into WandaVision. So after watching the latest episode of WandaVision, I'm worried the Marvel Cinematic Universe could be falling into a similar trap. Plenty of Marvel fans seemed more than happy to see it happen. Okay, so over 20 movies in, with more on the way. A large portion of MCU fans are ravenous, not for story, but for lore. Story isn't a journey to the experience. It's a blank entry page to fill out. Scan YouTube and see the vast array of explainers from like the origins of the MCU Celestials or the MCU timelines explained. It is objectively bizarre there are so many movies and fans still asking so many questions. Okay, that's a given though. But this has long been a fault on Marvel's part. But in 2021, we've come to the crossroads with the weekly series WandaVision. As a streaming show on Disney Plus with clear connective tissue to the movies, it's the chance for Marvel to hit the brakes on its speedy, plot-focused action movies to consider the mental and emotional state of secondary characters who never get monologues in an Avengers movie. Okay then, but weeks ago, shortly after its premiere, a string of homages to old sitcoms, fans grew confused and frustrated over the show's slow pace. They wanted answers to these mysteries in front of them. They wanted them yesterday, but IndieWire was ridiculed for complaining about inconvenient weekly installments. In response to that, a Forbes op-ed argued that WandaVision isn't too slow. Everyone forgot how to watch TV. So this past week in WandaVision episode 8, previously on, the history of Wanda's grief and obsession over old sitcoms are revealed in explicit terms that are plain as day. Sure, but there are still mysteries lingering. Who is Pietro really? But the episode finally gave what a large segment of MCU fans have demanded since the show premiered in January. The fault in Marvel's stars. WandaVision has been thus far a great show, and on previously on was an outstanding single episode. It gave the audience, and most importantly, Wanda, Elizabeth Olsen, proper time to reckon with the character's fatigue and history of loss. Heroine events from billion-dollar movies like Age of Ultron and Infinity War got picked apart on a microscopic level, which by design simply cannot happen in movies under strict 2.5-hour time limits. This makes Disney Plus a boon for the MCU, almost like monthly comic books. Streaming TV is unquestionable but a perfect format for experimental, even slower-paced narratives like WandaVision. The power from WandaVision is enough to even consider if there's any point left to the Marvel films at all. Why bother with 2-hour movies when you can have 6-hour TV seasons that look just as good? Well, that's a really good fucking question. I don't know. But here lies something that isn't a problem yet, but could be if no one is careful. Relying on streaming to pick up slack movies for a go. While the plot-focused Marvel movies have been a juggernaut hits, the movies have a habit of slacking off when it comes to giving characters the most necessary moments. Okay, so that's alright, but then in Avengers Endgame, it was wildly jarring when Bruce Banner emerged with his Hulk ego off-screen in between films. Yes, it happens, but how? Why? What challenges did Bruce have? Doesn't matter, but it happened, and the movie moves on. Though I appreciate Marvel's brevity, especially for a long movie like Endgame, it's still so weird how the studio handled Hulk. This was a bad habit of the MCU, and it clearly became worse. What WandaVision gets right. Now considering one of the best scenes in WandaVision, a flashback to Wanda seeking refuge in Malcolm in the Middle, Vision talks to Wanda about grief, and they find themselves with a deep connection to one another, which isn't that much of a surprise, but this not only retroactively sets up the romance in Infinity War, but the heartbreak of Vision's death in the climax. You can theoretically cut and edit this scene in Civil War, and it would have equal, perhaps more resonance than it did in WandaVision. Marvel movies, again by design, cannot accommodate for all the arcs of many characters, and the specifics of Wanda and Vision scene, such as the watching Malcolm in the Middle, would be out of place in the movies about Sokovia Accords. That's why the scene works for WandaVision. But as the MCU moves forward and more characters get their own spin-off shows, like the upcoming Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Hawkeye, which I hope Marvel does not rely on an increasingly guaranteed audience to streaming TV to hold back from its characters, and most importantly, what fans ought to get from them. In its upcoming big screen efforts, Marvel has been guilty for this for the better part of the last decade. Aside from YouTube videos that explain even the most obvious things in MCU, Marvel is as much a toy box for lore hounds as incomprehensible video games. And while I don't want the poo-poo fans enjoying themselves, we'll just see what it means when Marvel sacrifices story for lore. During the first few weeks of WandaVision's run, as that particular discourse emerged with some fans deeming WandaVision too slow, I saw a tweet that revealed symptoms of Marvel's illness. One fan demanded all episodes of WandaVision be released at once. Why does it need to be binged? Asked someone else. The demanding fan replied, because I don't know what's going on yet. Follow all of Inverse's WandaVision coverage on or WandaVision Hub. So there you go, guys. That is some information and some spoilers about WandaVision. And if you guys like this content, please hit a thumbs up. If you didn't, that's okay. I understand perfectly what your reason might be. And you guys have a nice night. Bye.